Okay, because we've got history in the making here. I don't know if you guys have been following the thing that's been going on at Riot. Riot is, of course, the developer of the game League of Legends, which is one of the most popular MOBAs, one of the most popular games in general right now.
Yeah.
It's got a large community. It's got a large player base, big esports following, very, very popular. A lot of characters. I think it has like a ton of characters.
Yeah, it's got a giant roster filled with characters.
I don't even know how many are on there because there's so many.
And a lot of them are really unique to their own
game,
playstyle stuff too.
There's some cool characters on there. But that's not really what this is about. This is about the development or sort of the what's going on at like the studio itself, everything that's going on like in the. God, I'm so out of it right now.
Tripping,
yeah. But basically, there was a report last year by Kotaku that was regarding toxic behavior in the workplace and sexual discrimination.
Oh no!
And this is kind of a follow up to that.
Oh no!
Okay. So ever since then, Riot, they expressed that they want to, improve and get better, but it hasn't really been enough for some people, and I feel like that's kind of a justifiable position to take.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, the reason why this is such a big deal is because it was the first time ever that game developers ever like staged a walkout at their workplace.
Yeah, this is something this has never happened before in the gaming industry. Even like when we're going back to like maybe the crash of the 80s and early 90s, and even like looking at today with like some of the really bad stuff that's going on with game developers, we've never seen an actual like walkout happen.
Yeah. And
so these dudes just walked out of their office.
Yeah.
They staged it. They organized it on Monday and they went through with it. And over 150 employees just like walked out to protest.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the reason why they protested is because of something called there's a clause in their contract whenever they like sign up to work at this is a common thing apparently, but usually when you like sign up for a company, I guess you have to sign a paperwork that says you're not allowed to sue them.
Sure.
And that's called forced arbitration.
Sure.
And that's what this is about.
All right.
Wow.
So, in regards to that sexual harassment and discrimination that was going on last year, there are former and current employees who are trying to sue, and their right to sue is being like taken away from them, and that's kind of what this is about. This is why they walked out.
Yeah, that's more of a, This is still a video game like topic and stuff, but this can also be applied to like the law. Like you're taking away someone's right to a trial.
This is like basic human rights.
Yeah,
so.
this is the basic American rights.
That was in their contract, right?
It's in the contract, but they might not have known that, or but it just seems like really like.
See, they be
cruel
marketing
and
stuff.
unfair.
They be marketing stuff a certain way, man.
Yeah.
So you got to read that.
And it's also the language of the contract could have been written to be like very confusing towards like someone who doesn't know.
Syntax.
They're always written in like the most confusing like way,
like
the most confusing like lawyerish way, in a way that you might not. Most people probably won't understand it like by reading it.
Yeah, I see you.
Get that lawyer, man.
Yes.
That's why lawyers are so expensive.
Yeah.
But so people had enough, and they said, I guess they said they wanted to make a change, and they walked out.
Yeah. So.
And let me see what I got here. I got a little quote right here.
Okay.
So Jocelyn Monahan, the social listening strategist and participant in the walkout, told Kotaku, "We are what makes Riot great. I want us to feel solidarity and connection with each other. I want us to feel connected, and I want us to feel like our voices are heard and heard in a way that matters." And everyone, there are a lot of people walked out, and there was a lot of support from other developers and people in the studio too. Like not everybody walked out, but there were people that were inside the offices that were still supporting them.
Yeah, the people that stayed. People that stayed wanted to get that check, man.
You never know. They probably
like, oh no.
But if this is creating
sorry, go ahead.
But if this is like something that's going on in the workplace, like if there's this tension that's going on in the workplace, that also affects how the employees work, and that also affects how the game comes out. Because if someone doesn't like, if there's like really bad chemistry going on in the workplace, that means there's less communication. And if the communication is bad, then maybe something messes up in the game, or maybe a character becomes maybe a little too overpowered, or maybe too underpowered, and that could break the game in general.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah, that's a point.
I know things were apparently pretty bad there, because I know there was that one guy at Riot, one of their managers was suspended for farting on people.
Whoa.
What?
And like hitting their genitals.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty bad. So they
You better get away from me with that stuff.
and yeah, the fact that you can't
Kick me in the nuts.
you can't take any action against that.
Yeah,
it feels
That's
like
stupid.
it's
Yeah,
Of course you
ridiculous,
should take action
Yeah,
against
people
that.
should be allowed to take action if that kind of stuff is happening. That is generally harassment and
Yeah,
assault as well.
You violated my space, man.
Yeah,
My personal space.
and if you're going to work like that, you don't want something like that happening to you, because that also. Oh, it doesn't physically hurt, but sometimes it can like get you right in the pride or in like the ego, and some people that breaks them down.
Like, how am I gonna have kids if you're gonna kick me in the nuts all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. I'm gonna sue you.
Have kids. That's that's a big problem. Yeah,
I think you actually
for some
can
people.
sue someone for that.
Yeah, you can. Of course, you
Yeah,
have
you
to.
can. That's assault.
You should.
Yeah. Oh my
Man.
god. That's
Okay.
So.
All right, but that was allegedly. You said. Is
No,
that true?
that guy. I think that guy was suspended. That was reported on.
So okay,
Okay.
it must have happened.
But
then.
these lawsuits are alleged. So I
Okay.
can't. I mean, we can't confirm or not because we can't say if they're true or not because they're not even allowing it to go to the court of law. So we can't even.
See, there we go.
So that's why we have to say allegedly, even
Yeah, we
though,
have to say
even though there's
allegedly.
a
No
lot
evidence,
of,
allegedly. Yeah.
even though there's a lot of reports and it's kind of seems like it's true.
And plus, major companies like this, like Riot Games, they are good at like kind of like their PA is getting so good where they can kind of like trying to sweep all this under the rug and keep it kind of quiet.
Yeah, they're trying to shut
But
everybody up.
yeah, so that's kind of helps with like the lawsuits and like how like maybe like not a bigger company has really talked about this or a
even
bigger
the-
news source
Yeah.
has talked about this a whole lot, but if a company like Riot Games, they're good at maybe keeping this under the rug, keeping it a little quiet, and just maybe sliding a little bit of a cash towards those people who are trying to throw lawsuits around.
Riot did respond, and they have been trying to improve. There are people inside the company who say like,
They
yeah,
say thank you for your feedback.
not thank you for the feedback. They actually did give like some like. No, I don't want to say. I don't know if they're reasonable or not, but they did respond in a way that's not just thank you for the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, I would have given them respect if they actually said that.
Yeah, I would.
Feedback.
I feel like thank you for the feedback is like the most.
Generic.
Yeah,
most
that's a
generic,
pretty
like, I don't
generic
think
Thanks.
answer.
Yeah, that's a pretty generic
Oh,
thing.
it's
they
like
got
that,
rid of.
huh? Thank you for your feedback. Okay.
But one thing they responded by agreeing to give new hires the option to opt out of mandatory arbitration.
Mm-hmm.
So and they might give existing employees the option to like opt out of it, which kind of seems like, well, why would you not sign?
giving him an
like, why would
ultimatum.
you ever choose to sign that? Like, why would you give away your right to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
why would you give
sue?
away your right to a lawsuit? Because that's just that's a basic human right guaranteed to us
Yes.
by
Yeah.
living in this country.
I don't know. It feels like there might be a catch with that because that feels like it's like if you like why just don't even let them sign it at all. Like, why would you ever like who's ever going to take that option?
And you would think that the labor unions would have been on top of this by now, but I guess
There's no unions in the industry.
Oh, there's
That's actually something I want to go over later. But
Okay.
one last where is it? One last response statement from Riot. We respect rioters who choose to walk out today and will not tolerate retaliation of any kind as a result of participating or not.
okay.
So basically, you can't. They're saying like, hey, like because these people are walking out, we're not gonna let you treat them differently or harass them when they come back to the workplace.
That's good. It's good for them to take responsibility of that,
Dope.
but there can still be more done by Riot Games. Of course, they could have prevented this whole thing in the beginning, but it's good that they're acknowledging the problem right now and that they're not saying, "Hey, guys, when they come back,
Sure.
don't treat them any differently. They're still our employees. They're still working for us and working for the game.
We need them.
Yeah, we need these
Yeah, we
guys
do need them.
just as much as
They're
our
the ones
our
developing
fans
your
need them.
code and fixing your little bugs and come on, man.
And there's always going to be some people in on
There's
Twitter and Reddit.
There's gonna be those guys that they bring in to scab over the
Yeah.
employees that leave. Then they burn those people out, and those people might be getting harassed and discriminated against too. You never know. There's a lot that's going on behind.
Yeah,
the
there's a
scenes
lot
that
that
we
can
I'm
should
not
happen.
know.
familiar with the developer
Mhm.
section of video games, but I wonder what the discrimination would be like. Oh, you're a low class coder. You code this thing. I code this. You don't have to code this.
The way I heard it's described is that it's sort of like a boys' club is the way I've heard it
it's a boys'
described.
club.
Okay,
Like,
so
like a yacht club with
Kind of
dudes
like
wearing
a
polo
frat
shirts.
club
and-
kind of.
okay, like
yeah.
a bunch of guys sitting around a table,
Well,
like
the guy,
smoking cigars.
the guy who was farting on people. That's not something
That's
you
some
do with
hazing
like your
stuff.
friend.
I
That's
don't
like
know what the
yeah.
hell that is. It's like some college fraternity.
That's like a
I'm gonna
rush.
fart on you. We're in a game. We're a game company though.
Yeah,
that's not
You a
professional
weirdo.
at
Yeah,
all.
Make games.
Yeah, and the effect of boys clubs are really bad, especially when it comes to making decision making.
Yeah. Look,
And
I'm a guy. We're all guys. We know we can go. We can get
all,
out of hand.
All of us in here are guys,
but
and we
got a job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have jobs. Like, that's like when we're like in private with our friends and stuff like that. Like we act like silly.
Yeah,
and goofy all the
we'll
time.
act silly and
workplace,
immature.
like on some fart and stuff. Yo, man, I'm wearing.
Yeah, but when we're in here, when we're in the station, we're
in a cubicle
it's
here,
professional.
smelling
Yeah,
nice, you know?
it's time to be professional once we get into the studio. So we don't. So even male, female.
Yeah.
It's all one thing. You gotta get to business.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all here to work. We're not here to
Let's get this
Goof
check, man.
around.
Well, we're here to have fun too sometimes. But we're not here to be like it's not. This isn't our clubhouse.
Yeah.
Not a clubhouse.
We don't own this place.
Yeah, it's not a clubhouse. We're not supposed to just like 24/7 have fun. We're supposed to actually get stuff done and get work for
Facts.
our parent.
That's for
I
anything
guess.
too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly.
All
And
right, what else we got?
Let me see. Monahan, so the woman who made the statement earlier, the quote that I read earlier, also said that at the end of the protest that the Riot had until May 16th to make a commitment to change the arbitration policy.
Okay.
Oh,
And
so they're getting
if-
a hard deadline.
Yeah. So and if they don't meet that deadline, there's going to be further action taken.
Oh.
See what happens.
I'm not 100% on top of what's going on right now, but I know because there are lawsuits that are currently ongoing right now. Maybe they'll go public with the reports that they have.
Facts.
And that's not what they want. You don't want people, because if that guy was farting on people, who knows what else was going on. You don't want that going out about your company's image, you know?
Ah, man.
Yeah, what else could happen? Like, I
Farting.
mean, maybe the employees
Imagine
just straight
that
up
right now. Imagine if someone came up in here, hey man.
Oh, and like
Just
farted in my face.
did it.
Well, see, I would like laugh.
Don't tell
'cause,
anybody, or I'm gonna.
Don't tell anybody, or you're gonna lose your job.
Lose your
see, but
job.
that, no, if they did it on air, I'd be mad. But if it was just like like me sitting with my friend, we'd probably just like laugh about it because we're we're idiots like that.
Yeah,
we're
idiots.
dummies.
But if I don't know you, and you're a coworker of mine, you're gonna fart on me. It's gonna be some problems.
Yeah.
outside of the building.
We're talking a lot about the farting stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like there's worse things.
All
that
right,
happen
anybody
than the farting
listening,
stuff.
don't mind us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're fools. We act a fool sometimes.
Yeah.
But going back to the actual topic, you said that there's going to be further action taken.
Yes, and that's where that's left off, because this broke out relatively recently. This broke out this week on Monday morning, and so I should have checked this morning to see what happened.
Well, there's still more to come. There's still
it's ongoing. It's not this isn't over. So we might come back to this later.
Yes.
Once we have
Maybe in a week.
some resolution to it.
It's gonna happen next week, right? The May 16th.
Yeah, and then May 16th is next week.
May 16th. Yeah.
We'll know by next week what happened, and this has been coming up. This has been coming up a lot recently. This thing about like toxic work behavior and like employees being like crunched and stuff like that.
I wonder
like,
where it stems from. Maybe it's the executives, or just
it
coworkers,
just stems
maybe?
from people being
jerks.
I don't know where it
Being
stems
jerks.
from. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
People are jerks, anyways.
This came out because this week it also came out that NRS, NetherRealm Studios, the guys that make Mortal Kombat, also were getting similar reports.
Wow.
Really?
And, last year there
Fart
was
stuff too, or no?
Nah, just like the toxic behavior.
The toxic behavior and the discrimination. And last year, Quantic Dreams, the guys that make
Oh no way! Like
the
Heavy
studio,
Rain.
Yeah, the studio that makes Heavy Rain. And
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Detroit,
yeah.
They also got reports of toxicity and
Why is it?
harassment.
I mean, maybe it's just been happening. It's just now being reported. That's what I'm
Maybe.
saying.
Yeah, this feels like a situation where because like one person came out and like spoke about it, everybody started coming out and sharing their own stories.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a domino effect.
And then they realized, oh, this is actually a lot more widespread than we
It's
thought.
like Me
That's
Too.
what
It's
it
like
feels
Me Too for video games.
Kind of.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
actually a good way to put it.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying I don't have no opinion on it. Whatever Me Too is, I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
what it sounds. What it is.
It's similar. There's like it's like that. It's like you said, the domino effect. It's like there's like that initial spark, and then everything just sort of like blows up afterwards because one person came out.
And if this is happening right now, if this is the first ever recorded time in gaming history where there's a walkout, what do you think could happen next if that deadline passes and Riot Games doesn't do anything about it? Like, I feel like there's
They probably will do something about it because this happened earlier this year with Google. The Google employees did the same thing over forced arbitration, and they won.
I'm waiting for Bethesda to have some stuff come out
Because
because I feel like something's gonna.
Nah,
happen.
Todd Howard doesn't. Todd Howard just
hey,
stays
man.
in chronic sleep until like he has to announce a new game.
It just works,
I don't
man.
know,
It
they
just
might-
works.
Well, they basically they reuse the same game like every year. So
Yeah, they use the same
it
system,
just works,
but
man.
it just
It
doesn't
just
work.
works, bugs.
But,
We need new things. We need new all this. Too bad that you're getting sued now.
Yeah, but God, speaking of like crunch and toxic behavior, the protest wasn't about unionization, but that's becoming like a growing interest in the industry.
Okay.
Unionization of we're developers in the industry because so this happens so often. It's becoming more and more apparent that there's a lot of like discrimination going on, and there's also like a lot of just an insane amount of stress on people, like with the crunch. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago that Fortnite, they're developers on Fortnite who work like 80 to 100-hour weeks.
Whoa!
Because Fortnite has so many updates, they have to keep working to make those up to meet
So
those.
you got one dude staying up 24
demands.
hours every day, just sitting on his.
Maybe
damn
sometimes,
computer.
yeah. According to the article that came out a few weeks ago.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
man,
makes
that's-
sense because it's Fortnite. It's a big game.
Fortnite's a big game, and it's the thing with Fortnite is it's constantly updating and constantly changing. It doesn't allow itself to kind of like sit for a bit.
Yeah, but they
And
don't
it
wanna
has to, and it has to do that because it has to keep people hooked onto it. Like, look what happened to Apex Legends. Apex Legends has had like 2 meaningful updates since it came out back in February, and it's dropped off by like a lot.
Mhm.
Like, it lost 75% of its Twitch viewership, and it had one of the most successful starts of any game like ever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But because they weren't crunching their employees and making those like with constant updates. Like, look how hard they fell off. Like, it's almost like developers like have to crunch their employees if they want to stay on top.
That competition, man.
Yeah.
And that's where unions come in. And it would, like if the unionization does happen, like who knows what effect that's going to have on the industry.
Yeah.
Because forced arbitration that can go, like, for sure. Like, that's just
ridiculous,
basic human rights.
Yeah.
People should be allowed to sue.
Like for them to even put that. Come on, that's messed up.
Yeah.
It's apparently a common thing. EA does it too, from what I've
You know
heard.
what I'm saying?
You're taking away your
They're trying
right
to
to a
trick you.
jury.
Trying to trick you. You got to read that thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people don't have time to read all that stuff.
Hey, man, if you
Nobody-
got the eyes, you got the
nobody
time.
reads-
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody reads the whatever the hell that
Terms and
thing is whenever
conditions?
you like download
Yeah, the
TOS,
term and
the
conditions.
the terms and conditions. Nobody reads
I'm not.
that
Hey,
stuff.
I read it. I'm not lying. I read it.
You read it?
I don't read it
I
at
read
all.
it. I don't care
I
what
just hit
anybody
agree
says.
and go.
Yeah,
'cause
I said
I'm
agree
not-
and go. I was like, all right, yep, just
All right.
do it.
I'm not reading a mile of text.
I'm not gonna
just,
lie. I don't read the whole thing, but I
yeah.
read it good enough to not know where
Some of
I'm like messing up. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you for doing that, because not everybody does.
Oh, I'm not bragging. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I just do what I do. Y'all can do what you do. I'm good.
Oh man, but the union thing. If the unions do happen, like, who knows what kind of effects that could have on the
Yeah.
industry.
This could be a really big
I'll support
thing.
developers, man. Fight it, man. Fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and good. For
Y'all make
people
the games.
Yeah, they made the games. They made our childhoods.
Yeah. You guys finish the deadlines. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
know what
finish
I'm
the lines, and I hope that they get what they want and they're allowed to sue, because that's just ridiculous. And
Yeah, people should be
It
allowed
takes-
to have that.
it takes a lot of guts to stand up to the people.
Yeah,
Like,
if you're a gaming
to stand
fan and you understand how gaming development works, or you know how people work, like you gotta appreciate this, man.
Yeah.
Well,
you
some
gotta
gamers
appreciate
don't
it.
understand. That's the thing.
Some
that
people don't
gamers
understand that.
Like
Well, that's
like
on them,
the
you know what I'm
Apex
saying?
example. Like people, like everyone understands that Apex is a good game, but because they're not constantly putting out new content,
Sure.
people lost interest. So
know what's-
people don't always understand. But
Is Epic's
Most
launcher?
people do.
You know the Epic launcher? Is that up to date?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
So they
since-
update Fortnite, but not the launcher.
No, I don't think the launcher has been updated yet.
Oh,
But,
well, then I'm throwing shots, I guess.
well, Fortnite's where they make all their money right now, so they're gonna focus on that. But
Hey, don't mind me. I'm just.
Yeah,
I'm
Fortnite makes all the cash right now, so they're
Fortnite.
going to continue on
I
Fortnite
play
for as long as they
Fortnite
can.
all day, every day.